Hey everybody, Dave with No Chaser, and there are some clothes that there's laundry I need to do over there. Don't look, do not look, don't look over there. Um, for today's topic, it was something that was brought up in a meeting I went to. There's a lot of things within mental health and addiction, alcoholism, and just sort of psychology itself that just mold and mesh together. And the idea of a people pleaser, seems like something that's kind of innocuous, not too bad. You talk about, I talk about like being a crack addict or a meth head or just fall down, drink to oblivion drunk in here, and then a term people pleaser comes in and is like, what is that thing? How does that, little thing come from its orbit into this mess of addiction? Well, a lot of people who are in active addiction or have been in addiction and reflect upon their lives, they think to themselves, like, yeah, I was always a people pleaser. Which in a sense seems kind of weird because it's like, I mean, were you? One of the big things is that alcoholics and addicts, they, wreck lives. They ruin things. But the way that they ruin things is, it's not just like they have chainsaws and they just ruin their spouse's car, or they take their kids' toys away, or they, um, I don't know, like hit their coworker in the face with a big silly mallet or something like that. No. The way they ruin things is like, especially for their kids, their absence. They're gone. Same thing with a significant other. The way they wreck, the lives of the people around them is usually either behavior that is not like them, that is just difficult and hard to deal with and is abrasive, or distant, cold, you're far away, and it's funny that, why would an alcoholic or an addict say that, I do everything for everybody else but nothing for myself? When in reality you're like, well, no, you do everything for yourself and nothing for everybody else, because you're just consuming drugs and alcohol. Now, this is just, I'm not pointing this at anybody watching or anything like that. Like, there are totally different scenarios and different sort of cases of your journey in alcoholism, addiction, but the idea of a people pleaser, the idea of that sort of mentality within addiction, I think is I mean, it's not only a volatile one, but it's one that's very present, is I guess what I'm long-windedly getting at. Because the thing is that it's, to be a people pleaser is to say yes to everything, right? Somebody asks you to do something, okay, yes, I'll do that for you. Think of it a lot, like the imagery that comes to my mind is like you're like a wait server holding plates, and they're like, okay, I'll take that one too and take that one too, and then all of a sudden they comically all crash down because it's just too much. You could think of it as like emotionally, like somebody that takes everybody's call, like especially in sort of recovery circles and groups and things like that, where they'll always be there for that person, whoever they are. They'll always take the call of the person that is just wallowing in drunken angst, or not doing well. They'll always give them the ride. They'll always do the thing, like to help them out. They'll give their shirt off their back, and this is one thing that shows that, like, alcoholics and addicts are still human beings, even when they're in active addiction, under all that just under all the mire of terrible, like fiendish, like selfishness that like the addiction brings out in them. They're still human beings. They still want to do good. Even underneath all that, there's a part of them that wants to be good and doesn't want to live this way. Um, but in that sense, though, where living, where you're taking care of everybody else but not yourself, here's the thing that I think why people live that way, or maybe think they live that way, or try to live that way, however it may occur. Um, the thing about taking care of other people, or taking dealing with other people's problems, is that is so much easier. It's really refreshing. It's nice. It's so much easier and more comfortable than taking care of your own. And the thing about when you are always, entangled in some venture of helping another person, and you're doing all this stuff, it is a great distraction from, the reality of what you need to do for yourself, and B, it can give you sort of credence for any sort of bad behavior or mess ups that you will inevitably do in the future if you're in active addiction or alcoholism. You know, or like it's kind of this sort of like token of I will do good deeds. This will hopefully out like if you think of the triple beam balance, I'll do good deeds so it'll balance out the bad things I'm doing, and it's just people. I've seen it so many times. Like I said, I don't have a big thing of stats I can show you or any like big degree. I have a degree. It's in general studies, which is hilarious because it's like, what did you major? What did you really focus in on in college? It's just stuff generally. But anyway, that's beside the point. I just I know this is just coming from me and my own experiences with people after Christ, it's probably for like 20 years of in addiction, and then probably about 15 years of like actually trying to fight it with recovery and everything like that. I have just seen so many people that have, it's the case where they have done everything for everyone else, and they they were just cut short. They just said there was nothing left for them. And I guarantee you would go to those people that they did everything for, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? You didn't do everything for us. You did some things here, some things there, but a lot of the stuff you did, we didn't ask for. That's one of the key things, is that there's a lot of people, a lot of people pleasers, a lot of people that will give the shirt off their back. When you're stuck in that mindset, you will start doing, you'll feel like the world owes me something because I did this, and you're doing stuff a lot of times that people aren't even asking for. And what it comes down to is it's just, if it's so good, I'm using this sarcastically, so good to be stuck in other people's problems because it means we're not in our own. Because when we're in for instance, you can get burnt out on being there for friends. You constantly trying to help the person that is just proverbially, they're not even close to even really any sort of recovery because they're not even serious about it or anything like that. And it's like, why do you keep helping that person? Why do you keep giving your energy and effort and time and everything like that? Why do you do that? You wonder why they do that, and it's because it feels like they are helping, and it feels like I've experienced this myself. I'll be candid. I've experienced where I feel like I'm doing good, and therefore I must be doing good on my own, right? Because I'm saying these things to this person, but here's the kicker. Am I doing them? It's in my mind. I'm like, well, just saying them is enough. Uh, I've seen that just countless times. I've experienced that. I've seen the results of it. A lot of people that did, the ultimate, like, practice, preach, but don't practice, whatever that saying that it actually is an easy saying, but I'm muffing it up. But the the thing is that when you have somebody that is that sort of people pleaser in a sense, it also can be a like go to other core issues. They feel the need to make everyone around them happy. They have like anxiety if like if everything isn't cool, then they are combusting. Like, have you ever met somebody that just is like almost a micromanager of things, and you can just tell that they cannot for the life of them like handle any sort of conflict whatsoever. Like, they would just burst because I think that's also part of it. Like, people pleaser, you could stretch into a couple things. It's like the person that always says yes, that purposefully goes out and you know tries to help everybody else but themselves, like purposefully. Or you could think of them as the person that just can't say no and is entrapped with people because, I mean, boy howdy, people will take advantage of that. If you're a person that never says no, you see it in so many like cases where it's predatory, where they will take advantage of the person that never says no. And you find this because there's this sort of, wound within, especially an alcoholic or addict. They feel bad about themselves. They feel bad about the life they're living. You know, like all those moments of secrecy and the things they do and how they're degraded and debase themselves and all that type of stuff. So they're a vulnerable person, and so when someone else comes along, or if it's like a family member or a friend or a quasi friend or their significant other, when a bad one perhaps, like you can't you can't say no because like I gotta help them because I gotta do something because I'm such a piece of crap, you know. And that's the way this like I would say cycle, but it's not really a cycle. I don't know what it is. It's this big intertwined thing that just makes addiction continue upon itself. Like it just makes it stronger, and it makes your mind more adept to just doing these same behaviors of having to help people, having to please them, extending yourself, um, never looking inward. That's the key thing. Doing all this stuff to not look inward to do the changes that you need to do for yourself. I think that's a good summation of that point. Hopefully that makes sense. Other than that, watch. It's a podcast. Listen to Shoeless in South Dakota. It's on all major podcast players. I have a book out. I have a book. It's called At Least the Pain is Cheap. You can get it on Amazon for $10. And you know what? If you don't have $10, oh, by the way, the book, it is a, I'm sorry, I've done this on video before, so just bear with me. It is a collection of poetry about the forgotten people of the Midwest. Addicts, alcoholics, people that you find donating plasma at methadone clinics, at your liquor store, just all that type of stuff. I think it's really good, and that's why it's put out there. But look, if you don't have $10 to spend on poetry, which is totally fine, I don't think I have that. You can, and you still want to read it, you can request a copy by sending an email to the official site. It's at least the pain is cheap at gmail.com. I'll put it in the description below, and just say, hey, I'm a person, send me PDF copy. Or you could just say, send please, just whatever you want, and I will send you a free PDF copy, because this is not about making money, it's about getting my work out there. Other than that, be well.